So thank you so much for joining. We're just testing our Zoom screen over here. If you guys are just joining now, we're gonna have the chat. I'm gonna have the chat open on one of my screens here. So feel free to chat. I'm gonna be asking lots of questions and keeping it fairly interactive. So even though I'm gonna keep everyone on mute, but feel free to participate in the chat. If you just joined, can you just type if you can hear me okay? Is the audio okay? I think we just had Stephanie join. Stephanie and Alexander, is your audio working okay? Perfect. Stephanie says it's great. Awesome. So I think we're just waiting for some more people to join. Really excited to have you guys. This is our first, not our first webinar for napkin marketing, but our first LegalWerx webinar. And I think Alexander just joined. Is your audio working okay, Alexander? Feel free to type in the chat if it is. Perfect. So yeah, if you're just joining, I think we're just waiting for the room to fill up a little bit before we get started. So feel free to type in like what firm you're with or where you're joining from. Perfect. And I know people are still a little bit shy, but might start getting started because the beginning is a little bit more of an intro. And just introduce myself a little bit. I'm Adina with Napkin Marketing, and we're a digital marketing agency based here in Toronto. LegalWerx is our sister agency for law firm marketing, and we focus on helping law firms grow their practices and get more clients, build their client base, and generate more leads. So we'll be sharing lots of best practices that we've learned with working with our lawyer clients, and really excited to share those with you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started maybe with the intros. And can everyone see my screen, by the way? We're just in a little bit of a different office setup. So can you guys see full screen? Feel free to put in the chat. Okay, perfect. Okay, so a little bit about what we'll be covering here today. So we have an approach here with LegalWerx called full circle digital marketing. And our philosophy is too many, when we're working with our lawyer clients, we've seen too many clients, and not just lawyer clients, all businesses actually take the approach of, let's throw spaghetti at the wall in terms of our marketing. Let's try lots of different things and see if they stick. And what we have with the full circle digital marketing system is more of an integrated approach. And I'll be talking to you about that in detail. So, I'm super excited about today's session. We're going to be talking about building your law firm's digital marketing plan, and it's a really good time to be started that. It's almost the end of September. It's crazy to think that with the crazy year we've had with COVID. But this is actually a really good time to think about putting together your marketing and your business plan for 2020/2021. And it's really important to focus on this, as I know almost all our businesses were affected by COVID. And I'm really going to go with the emphasis of helping you kind of maximize your lead flow, maximize your dominance in your specialty area of legal practice and in your local area, really using the web. And we've got a lot of stuff to cover. Basically, the main thing is we're going to be focusing on, I mentioned the full circle digital marketing. The next thing is actually like the 6 types of lead magnets major law firms are using. So I'll be giving a lot of real life examples of this in case you don't know what a lead magnet is. It's any type of content or element on your site that helps people either sign up, contact you through a contact form, or get on your subscription list so you can have them as a prospective client. And I'll be giving you real life examples from family law, intellectual property law, personal injury law, estate planning, and business law, corporate law. The next thing, the big thing we are also going to focus on is Google AdWords. So how you can use Google AdWords and also SEO to help grow your firm, and just some keyword and SEO strategies you should know for leveraging SEO for your law firm. So let's move right ahead here. And I don't know if anybody can relate to this picture. If you have, ever been trying to have a conversation with your significant other or maybe your kid, and they're on their phone. And I know, and I've been on webinars, lots of webinars myself, and I know the tendency is, especially if you're busy, you're a practicing lawyer and a business person, or you're running law firm, you're running the marketing for your law firm. A lot of times it's easy to get distracted, and especially for me, it's kind of like squirrel. If you're a Daily Show fan, it's easy to get really distracted, have multiple screens open, multiple tabs. So what I'm just going to ask you today is to help stay in the moment and focus on what you're doing so that you can get the best results. You've decided to be in this webinar. Just be here, give it your all, and try to give it your undivided attention. Put away the phone, because I think what we're trying to teach is really something that's going to change the trajectory of your business, because we've been able to do that with our law firm clients in the past. And I just want to make sure everybody on here really gets the most out of it. Does that make sense? Like, tell me in the chat if I'm hearing you. I'm not trying to be the school marm here. And I do have a little bit of an ethical bribe for if you do stick with it. We are giving away some extra tools and resources to help you get started kind of in your digital marketing journey. We have, if you stick around till the end, we have a couple of download resource that is available to you. Number one is the commonly searched keywords, with the most common searched keywords for about 5 or 6 different legal practice areas. I think we have, Masha, you got to remind me which ones you did. By the way, I have my team is on the chat if you have any questions. So Maria K or Masha, maybe you can put in the chat which practice areas that you had in that keyword list. I think there were 4 or 5 of them. And the other thing is, and you might want to, this is something for you to follow up with on your marketing, is a marketing checklist for your law firm, and just something you can use as in an interactive way that to make sure that once this is over, you can really apply what you learned to your law practice. So stick around for that. So I know this. I know a lot of you are new to napkin marketing and new to me, and I just wanted to take a little time to. Oh yeah, I think Masha just put the 5 areas there. So those are the keywords. And if we don't have keywords listed for your area of practice, we're actually always growing this resource, and we'll be updating it over time. You can also get in touch with us later for a specific keyword list for your area. So a little bit about me, and who is this Adina, and why should you listen to her? So I've actually been working in digital marketing since 1999. That makes me feel really, really old to say that, because the people I'm hiring born in the 90s now, and it's like, that's okay. That's my thing to deal with. Napkin Marketing has actually been in business as an agency since 2010, and we founded LegalWerx just this year, but we've been working with lawyers through Napkin Marketing for many, many years. And we're one of the only agencies in Canada that's actually a Google AdWords partner and a MailChimp partner. So we really specialize in Google AdWords and helping advertise companies online on Google, and also helping them rank organically on Google with SEO. And prior to working with Napkin, prior to founding Napkin, I worked with pretty prominent companies as a digital marketer for Rogers and Yahoo. And through Napkin, we've worked with companies like Seneca College, Centennial College, Alterna Bank. So honed a lot of digital marketing experience, well beyond just the legal area, but basically, you know, there's a lot of law firms out there, there's a lot of legal marketing agencies out there. And when starting LegalWerx, I came across many, there's going to be many agencies pitching for your business. And the advantage of working with us is we haven't just worked with lawyers. So we're able to bring best practices in across many multiple sectors and apply them for law firms, and really bring in out-of-the-box solutions versus agencies who might have only just dealt with lawyers. So that's my mini pitch there, and just my background there. But of course, we are a specialist in law firms and professional services. We've also worked with accountants, consultants, and I'm soon launching a column as well for the Lawyers Daily, which I think you guys know is a big industry publication. So a few of our lawyer clients here, we've worked with intellectual property law, estate law, family law. So definitely no stranger to the legal area. And I'll be sharing some of the case studies with you guys today and showing you how, you know, we've helped some of these clients. And just to, you know, to give you kind of a big picture, you know, these are some of the technologies we work with, HubSpot, Infusionsoft. So we're very diverse in our skill set and able just to bring you the best tools and practices to the table that you need to move. We're also proud of our design awards. So we not only like to build great campaigns, but we also like to build beautiful sites. And some of our team members are here on the chat today. Matthew, our account manager, as well as Maria Masha Kutsova and Maria Diana is our web developer. So we've got a full team of web developers, SEO specialists, graphic designers, copywriters, videographers. So we've got a full team, and this is really what we do all day, every day. If you know, at some point, if you would like the opportunity, talk to us or working with us. That's not the objective of today's session. The objective is to get you a clear plan. But if we would like to talk schedule a meeting one-on-one at the end of the session, you can chat with us and we can help you implement some of the stuff we're going to be showing. So I wanted to start by enough about me, but to get back to you guys in the audience, and wanted to hear why you guys are here today. And I know a lot of you are here because marketing's hard. Marketing's hard for every client we deal with, in law and not in law. And want to hear kind of what's your biggest challenge about marketing your law firm online right now. Feel free to chat. Time, absolutely. I mean, it's, you know, marketing takes a lot of time, you know, finding the time to just research your keywords, finding the time to figure out the right strategy, you know, finding, getting the exposure. Stephanie says getting the exposure sometimes. Absolutely. You guys are in a really competitive field, and every practice area, whether it's copyright law, estate planning, you know, you type it into Google and there's at least, we're you know, speaking from Toronto today, but we're probably in the most competitive legal market, definitely in Canada. So, we're talking about when you're doing pay-per-click campaigns, 20 to 50, $60 a click for certain law-related keywords that we've worked with. So it definitely is, it's a competitive field. And when you're running your own practice or running marketing for a practice, everybody else who's in practice is doing the similar things you are. So that's why that's what today's all about. It's about getting smarter and figuring out the right strategies that are going to help you elevate your brand and get you the right kind of exposure. And Jan said, finding the right personality for each social media platform. Yeah, absolutely. So do you go with kind of the corporate tone, or do you go with a more personal, casual tone? So we'll definitely be talking about that as well. That's great. So I just wanted to start off with a little story actually about, this is one of my favorite clients. We've been working with him for a long time. His name is Ken Pope, and he's an estate planning lawyer out of Ottawa. And the reason he's my favorite client, I hope he doesn't take offense if he hears the recording, he's like probably one of my oldest clients in terms of age, but one of the youngest and most innovative client in terms of mindset, in terms of trying new things, innovating and trying new technology and being open. And I think that having that mindset is what's really made his practice very successful. He started off as a disability, as an estate planning lawyer, but he really niched into doing estate planning for families with children with special needs. And if any of you are practicing in the area, you'll be familiar with the Henson Trust, which is a type of estate planning tool, kind of like a will that parents can leave for their child to take care of a special needs child or an adult special needs child, so that they're taken care of financially when that parent passes on. And in learning about Ken's practice and starting to work with him, one of the things we dug into is the emotional core of what he does. He's helping parents take care of their children after they pass on. It's one of the most important things that they'll ever take care of. But when he was starting, and I'll tell you a little bit about this is what his website looked like, I think, back when we were starting. It was a very, very basic law firm website. And, one of the first things I said to him is, Ken, you're dealing with people's children, you're dealing with people's families. You need to show that personal side of yourself. And I think a lot of times as lawyers, we want to show ourselves as very, very professional, not ourselves, because I didn't get into law school. That's a whole other story. You want to show yourself as very professional, very corporate. But the problems that people are coming to you with are very personal. And that's why one of the things I emphasize, especially in the website and portraying a certain kind of image, is showing that human side. And I think Hinaj, you mentioned like the personality and the voice in your social media platform. Don't be afraid to be a little more warm, personal, human. So, and that's what we've worked with Ken on. Even having photos on his site where he's with his grandchildren to help clients relate to him better. So with working with him, we've helped revamp his sites. We also launched a series of eBooks. And the eBooks, I'll be talking about lead magnets a little bit later, but the eBooks have made a huge difference for his practice area, because the initial thing, a lot of people start working with us because we are a MailChimp specialist. And a lot of people come to us initially saying, hey, can you help us build up our email list? We want to start a newsletter. And when we started working with him, we said, hey, you don't just need more subscribers to your newsletter, but the subscribers need a reason to become subscribers. You need something that's going to attract people to your newsletter. So what we came up with for him, because he had this specialty in Henson Trust, is an ebook about Henson Trust. And this has really transformed his practice. He has the ebook. He also just recently, this summer, we launched another ebook about adult guardianship. And I think all of you are practicing, most of the time when I talk to our lawyer clients, they all have some sort of niche or angle that they do better than other lawyers. And that's the reason people come to them. And that's what you have to hook onto, is coming up with an ebook, a video, a webinar, something that's going to resonate with your clients and address some of their problems, that's available on your site that they can sign up for and download before they're ready to hire you. Because it's a long journey to hire a lawyer, and to get to the point where you got to admit you have a legal problem, you have to research that problem, and then get to the point where you're actually going to lay out, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars to make that initial appointment, or to put a lawyer on retainer. And people go through quite a long decision process sometimes to do that. They want to get to know who's going to represent them. And the ebooks and all of the content on your site helps people get to know you. So that's kind of what I'll be sharing with you today. And with the ebooks, this has one of the things that really helped Ken probably 15x his subscription list over the past 2 years, and build a following as well. Things like having a everybody offers a free consultation. Every consultant out there offers a free consultation. Every lawyer offers a free consultation. But how you offer that free consultation makes a big difference. And one of the ways we made, a lot of the things I'll show you are like small tweaks that you wouldn't think, oh, just adding a video, or oh, just adding an ebook. But it's the accumulation of from a negative example, the death by 1,000 cuts, the accumulation of all these little tweaks that we've done on clients' sites that have made the difference, to make those sites convert better. And in case I'm using kind of marketing jargon, when I say convert, it means a visitor who came to your site and actually got in touch with you, filled out a form, downloaded an ebook, actually contacted you for an appointment. So everything we're doing with the digital marketing is about getting conversions, either getting someone as a lead, so a subscriber to your mailing list, or getting someone to actually pick up the phone or message you or fill out a form to get an appointment for you. So this is one of the ways we've really grown conversions for Ken, is he always had a consultation form. So we rebranded his consultation form as a family evaluation form. And we had that up on his site for a while. And it's quite a lengthy form because it asks a lot of details. He kind of gives people an assessment of what disability benefits they're qualified for and things like that. So it asks a lot of personal details. And he wasn't getting a lot of traction. He wasn't getting a lot of people filling out this form. So one of the things, so when I looked at it with him, I'm like, Ken, you're asking for super personal information. You're asking people's, children's names and ages and what diseases their children have, and their income and the spouse's name and date of birth, a lot of personal stuff. And people are intimidated by filling that out, and they're intimidated by taking the time to do it, but also disclosing that level of confidential information. And that's where you gotta show them that you're a real person, that you're a credible lawyer, and that they can trust you. And that's a big part of everything we emphasize. When you're putting together your site and putting together your marketing as a lawyer, it's so important to every little part of your site has to create trust and build trust. And a lot of lawyers are afraid of video because they're like, I don't look that good. I'm afraid of video too, by the way. My team can tell you how anxious I am before webinars myself. And a lot of people are afraid to appear on video, and they're like, I don't look like a movie star. I don't look like a model. I'm gonna stammer or whatever. But you know what? Clients don't care. They want to deal with a human being. And most of the time, once you get over that first few 30 seconds of anxiety and you start talking about what you know, and you guys know your shit. Every lawyer I've talked to, once they start talking, they know what, if they've been in practice for many years, they're going to impress whoever they're talking to, and it's your job to talk about your area of expertise. And Ken definitely fell into that category. He's an expert on Henson Trust. He's an expert in his area of law. And what we did was we filmed him just talking briefly about what this form is all about. You can go on his site and visit it, but basically, you know, hey, like this form will take you about 5 minutes to fill out, but it can actually gain you like $30,000 in disability benefits and show you how to save on taxes and so forth. And, you know, a little bit about himself. He's been practicing for many years. You know, we've also did an intro video for him, just talking about his practice in general and him talking on camera. And we were able to do this like very, very inexpensively. We actually just filmed him on a Zoom call like this, and we turned that into a bio video. So it's very, you know, don't be intimidated by video. You can do it fairly efficiently and inexpensively, and we can help you with that. But that's one of the things that, you know, just adding this video to his form probably like 5 times, you know, like got 5 times the response rate as without the video. Because people like all of a sudden had a human being introducing them to the form versus, you know, a basic official bureaucratic form, right? And they were able to have that trust in order to fill out that personal information. So that's one thing, you know, we've applied to other lawyer clients as well, is having a little video introduction to your forms. And this has really made a difference. I think I have also, you can hear more about Ken's story. We've got his video case study that, you know, he talked about the work we did for him on our testimonials page on Napkin Marketing. And you know, another area we worked, you know, very hard on with him is, you know, having him show up as Henson Trust lawyer in Google. So, you know, having that ebook also gives him, he has a lot of content on his site with the ebook, with blog posts, with articles on his site related to Henson Trust. So Google picks up on all that. The Google algorithm basically rates you on the content that you have on your site that's related to people's searches. So when people are searching on Henson Trust, you have Henson Trust related content, keywords, hyperlinks on your website, videos, you're going to be more likely to show up higher on Google and much more likely to show up on the Google homepage because the algorithm rewards relevant keywords and content. I hope I'm not going on too fast. Give me a thumbs up, guys, or a yes if this is making sense to you guys. I'm watching the chat. Does this make sense to you guys so far for your practice? All good, perfect. So I'll keep going here. And yeah, just a few stats on the results we've had, you know, working with Ken, you know, getting him to page 1 for his estate planning niche, over 700% increase in email newsletter subscribers since starting with him. That was mostly due to the ebooks. I'd say 80% from the ebooks and the family evaluation form. And he gets hundreds of leads a month for his practice. Again, I'm so you know, impressed by how well this has worked for him. And it's really, the other beautiful thing is when you set up these lead magnets, it's an automated lead flow. So people are signing up. They're also, you know, he's got other automations set up to get people to invite them to webinars and then ask them for an appointment. We also set up an appointment automation so that anyone who signs up also gets invited for an appointment at the office. So it's really automated his practice in a huge way and frees him up to practice law instead of chase clients, which is really what it's all about. And made him an authority figure in that space. So shifting gears a little bit to another client called Shift Law. So Shift Law is a trademark and copyright practice here in Toronto. We've gotten them to page 1 in Google for Trademark Lawyer Toronto and Copyright Lawyer. And that's, again, a very, very competitive area, especially here in Toronto. And this is him on page 1. So again, how we did that, really focused on content on his site, but also backlinks. So I'll be talking about that in the SEO portion of the presentation. But in terms of, I think I mentioned adding little things on your website to improve conversion. So in the case of John with Shift Law, and again, you know, I don't like to argue with my lawyer clients because I can't argue with a lawyer, you know, I got to be honest here. But we spent a little time going back and forth about this, and I'm like, my big thing was, John, your online forms suck. I'm very, like, I'm a big form geek, online form geek. But you know, and I think that most people think that's pretty funny and pretty weird, but the online forms are actually like the main way people interact with you on your website. And you have to have friendly forms. You have to have forms that are, you know, graphically designed well and have the right user experience, so people are encouraged to get in touch with you, because your forms on your site are your sales tools, right? So this is something, another small thing we added on the Shift Law site is when people click Get Started or people click Connect with us on his site, this is the form they see, and it's a pop-up, but it's not like an intrusive pop-up. But because we have that, and they don't have to dig around to a hidden page or a Contact Us page, he has that as well. That's also really helped his leads and his conversions on his site. So I think we were able, Masha, you were working on this project, we were probably tripled the leads on the site by adding this form. And again, you know, going back to having the videos, this is a quick video that John shot on his phone, and we edited for him. And it's on his Contact Us page. We called it a Let's Connect page. So, you know, it gives 3 ways for him to for people to contact him, and just adding that element has made a big difference in terms of the number of leads he's getting now, the number of people scheduling appointments, because they get a little bit of an intro of him and a little sense of, you know, he talks about his practice, but they also get a sense of his personality, right? So again, it humanizes the interaction, builds the trust. And again, you could watch his story on our testimonial site or on our YouTube channel, and a little bit about the results we've gotten with him. I don't know if you guys, it's covering, I don't know how to close this, but here we go. Got him on #1 for his category for IP law keywords. Leads are up by 550%. And he's getting regular leads and contacts. And, you know, when we started working together, he was saying, Adina, the only one who's filling out my lead form is like Russian spammers, you know, and it doesn't matter if they're Russian, any spammers are bad. But he was getting a lot of spam through his contact form. And we actually replaced the contact form, the kind of contact form technology you're using. Most companies, like a lot of web design companies, when they build the site, they put a really cheap form plugin, and it doesn't capture the information well, and it also attracts spam. So we have, you know, certain form technology that we've used for many, many years that works really well, and also able to set up automations. So for example, someone fills out the form, they're automatically added to your email list. They can automatically get an auto response email asking for an appointment. They can be added to your CRM system. So there's a lot of automations you can set up with the right form technology. And we've also just set up automated appointment bookings for him, which really reduced his staff time as well. Again, you know, people don't have to call the office and set up the appointment or send 6 emails back and forth. Are you free Monday? Are you free Monday at 3? Are you free Monday at 5? No, I'm busy at that time. The automated appointment booking we have set up just eliminates all of that and reduces the admin time that his staff was spending on those interactions. And I've had lawyers tell me, like, Adina, I don't want to do audit. We also argued about this. I don't want to do the automated appointments because people want that personal interaction. Like, nobody wants the personal interaction about scheduling. You know, they want the personal interaction with you to talk about their problem, to talk about their legal issue, but they don't want the personal interaction with your admin assistant and going back and forth and scheduling. People just want to schedule and done and be able to look up when you're available. So that's what another takeaway for you guys that I encourage is set up the automated booking on your site, and we can also help you set that up. So now that we've kind of, you know, one thing that I think you'll see in common as I talk about these clients, as we start to work with them on their marketing, what they really started to tap into is what we call our full circle digital marketing system. And I'll be explaining to you into this, I'll be going through each of these 8 elements here and explaining those to you in depth and giving you some examples. And the idea here is you don't necessarily actually have to do all 8. You can pick the 3, 4, or 5 that work for you. And we, you know, with our clients, we design a plan around that and customize it for them. But the idea here is, you know, having the key systems in place, having a sales funnel. I'll be showing you a little bit more about what that is, having a lead magnet on your site, making sure your website is designed to convert visitors to signing up for your mailing list, making sure your website has the right SEO elements in place and the right content so that you're ranking for the keywords you want to be found under. And then getting into paid search. So, you know, once you have the right website, the website set up properly, once you have it optimized for the keywords you want to be found, that's still not enough because, you know, many other competitor practices are doing similar things. So you want to look at driving traffic through Google AdWords. And Google AdWords is an excellent way to drive specific traffic for the keywords you want to be found under. Looking at retargeting, which is related to Google AdWords as well, related to Facebook advertising. And then finally doing email marketing and doing social media to reach out to the people who subscribe to your mailing list. So what basically, when I looked at what clients did right with our systems, is they tapped into the kind of that full circle digital marketing system. We worked on ranking on search engines for their law-related keywords, and not just their law-related keywords, but law-related keywords in their specific area. So for example, estate planning Toronto or intellectual property law Toronto, and making sure they have a website that converts visitors into callers or appointment requesters, and really leveraging like the lead magnets and content marketing, taking advantage of pay-per-click marketing. So the idea is, you know, stop doing the spaghetti against the wall practicing. Oh, this year we're going to try Google AdWords. You know, next year we're going to try email marketing, but really taking a holistic approach. And the idea here where we want to get clients is, you know, if you feel free to type into the chat, how are you currently getting your clients now? So is it referrals? Is it people actually contacting you through your website? As I know when I speak with you know, my lawyer clients, most of the time it's word of mouth and referrals. And they're basically at level 5. I call that hope and prayer marketing. So the idea is like you're hoping business will be good this month. You're hoping you'll get some more referrals. You're hoping that phone will ring. So hope and prayer marketing is just not sustainable for building a successful, you know, growing practice. And you know, if you're at this level, what you're probably feeling is frustration. You don't have, because, you know, clients are coming in randomly, you don't have as much money to invest in doing wider marketing. you're going to potentially, networking meetings, not so much now, maybe virtual networking, but you're not meeting the right kind of people who the clients, the type of clients that you want to work with. The next level up from that, what we see is spaghetti on the wall. It's like, okay, I'm not just going to rely on referrals. I'm going to do Google advertising. And that might work or might not work, or it depends, if you're hiring a firm to help you or if you're doing it yourself, but you're going to get slow leads. And the idea, what we want to do is help you get to the point where you're actually getting clients on demand. So basically, the Ken Pope level is he's got all the elements in the full circle system working for him. He's got lead magnets, he's doing pay-per-click advertising, he's got his site well optimized for search, he's got all the elements in place that, if one method does not work, or if one method ends up being a dog, or he's got other methods to fall back on, so that he's almost at the point where, he turns on his ads and he's getting clients on demand. And it's a predictable lead flow and predictable flow of client and cases coming to you, and predictable billings for you every month, right? And that's what I think where we all want to get to is, because that's where you want to get is the financial freedom of having that and being able to predict that income stream and being able to grow your business from there. Or if you don't want to grow your business, just being able to relax and have the family time and peace of mind, knowing what your billings are going to be next month. And especially during COVID, I know a lot of businesses have been affected. Our business has been affected as well. And that's where this is more important than ever. Is this making sense to you guys, by the way? We've actually usually, before COVID, we were doing these kind of webinars here at our office. So it's like I could see the faces and I could see people reacting. So I'm really relying on the chat here. Okay, perfect. So we'll start with the sales funnel strategy. And this is something we do for our clients. And basically, we always like to start when we're working with a new client, figuring out what's the strategy going to be. So a sales funnel is just a fancy way of saying kind of marketing campaign. But basically, it's the path from point A, which is a client, somebody out there has a problem that they need you to help solve. They need, they're considering a divorce, they're considering starting a business, they're considering ending a partnership. And you want to get to the point where they meet you and they like what you have to offer. They want to start working with you. So the journey from point A to point B is how you want to guide them to that endpoint. And that's the marketing funnel. So basically what we do is we kind of create a map of that and help organize how that whole strategy is going to work. So it's best to probably just show you what I mean. This is an example of kind of a simple marketing funnel. So for example, if we were working with you and we want, you want to be the top lawyer in Calgary for a top divorce lawyer, right? And we decide that we want to start publishing a lot of case studies, a lot of articles related to divorce law, alimony, custody. So, that will be kind of the heart of the strategy. And how are we going to drive traffic to your site? Well, we might have some ads, we might do SEO, we might do social media. And once people, get to an article they're reading and, that helps establish you as an expert, what's the next step going to be? So are they going to have an appointment with you? Are they going to download an eBook about guide to divorce law? So figuring out that path is the sales funnel. And just to show you what a real one looks like, Matthew's kind of the whiz of this. And he helps build sales funnels for our clients, not just for lawyers, but even people, launching courses, everything from figuring out where are they going to advertise. So for this client, they're advertising on LinkedIn, they're advertising on Facebook. And when I say advertising, I'm not just saying social media posting, but paid posting. They're advertising they're through their email newsletter. and where the, once they see the advertisement, here's the page they're going to be going to. So it kind of maps out that whole customer journey. And, if we want, like, so when we're not just throwing up an ebook, we think about what the whole process is going to be. So like, the form that the person's going to fill out, the email they get when they fill out the form, and the final page they see that says, thank you for filling it out. So just thinking through and mapping that whole thing out is the first stage of our full circle digital marketing. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Most people are really confused about the sales funnel part. But the main thing you need to know is you can actually map this out yourself. You don't have to work with us. All the tools I'm going to show you are things you can do yourself, even if you don't decide to work with us. Obviously, if we work with you, we plan it all out for you. But I want to give you guys the tools you need to succeed regardless. So the next part of the full circle system is the lead magnet. So I'm going to be sharing some examples of some lead magnets from different law practices. But what I wanted to kind of get you in the right headspace of what I mean by a lead magnet. Now, this is very pre-COVID, but does everyone remember, just 6 months ago when we go to Costco and you get like the sample lady? Give me a yes if you remember the sample lady at Costco. Nobody? Come on. Like, I know you guys went to Costco for the sample lady. Okay, awesome. So, I mean, I kind of miss her now looking at it in COVID. I'm like, oh my God, she's not wearing a mask. She's got open food. This is, she's an older person. She shouldn't even be at Costco. Now this is giving me like COVID anxiety just looking at this picture. But the reason I have the picture of the sample lady at Costco is the food company's doing something very intelligent here. Most of these food sampling programs are food companies who are introducing a new brand or a brand that hasn't had a lot of exposure or a brand they want to reintroduce to the public. And they know that the best way is to put it in front of people and give people a chance to sample it and taste test it. Because they know that if you just saw it on the shelf, you'd pass by, you didn't recognize the brand, you'd probably pass by and get what you normally get anyway, or not get anything at all. And this is a chance to, the sample lady interacts with you. She gives you the product in your hand, and best of all, it's free. It's freaking free, that sausage. So the idea here is, how can you make Costco sample lady eyes your law practice? Give people a taste of what you're offering, and give it to them for free, and give them a taste. And obviously this is a little bit of a cheesy example, and you guys are offering sophisticated service and knowledge, but the idea is give them a sampling of the knowledge and the experience and the expertise you have to share, in a way that's a low commitment from them. So the idea here is usually to have people join. The goal is to have people join your email list, or to have people actually sign up for an appointment. So a lead magnet usually solves a problem or a pain they have. So think about the Ken Pope ebook. If a parent with a special needs child is just in the process of researching the whole wills and estates thing, that's a big area emotionally for people to even get over the hump to make a will. Think about, most people probably die without a will or plans for their family. So, when they're in that research mode, that's actually the most opportune time to be able to interact with them. So you want to be able to give people different opportunities to interact with you without actually having to hire you as a lawyer yet, right? So the idea is to get people warmed up and make that micro commitment before they make the macro commitment of setting up an appointment with you. Does this make sense so far, guys? Give me a yes if that makes sense so far, and if this is making you want to go to Costco after the webinar. Okay, perfect. So, you know, when you're thinking about your lead magnet, you got to think also about like, who's your ideal client and what are they really looking for? So most people think, you know, okay, my ideal client is looking for a lawyer. She's got a legal problem, but they're not just looking for a lawyer. Most of the time, they're actually looking for an ally. They're looking for an answer. They're looking for an advocate. And they want to take that action step towards solving their problem, but they might not be ready to spend the money towards solving the problem. So you're giving them a way to do that. So this is, again, interaction time. You know, now that you're kind of in this mode, maybe if you feel comfortable sharing, who's your ideal client? Maybe what's the biggest problem they need help with? Does anybody feel like sharing? I can also feel free to type in the chat. So for example, you know, if you are, again, I think I'm going back to family law, you might have a client who's considering a divorce. They're not there yet. Or thank you, Hijan, you guys saying employment law. So you might have a client who's, let's say, at the employer side, if they're considering, you know, laying off several people in their workforce, or thank you for the example, or like they're in a dispute, you know, you have a contractor, they're in a dispute with their own client. So they're in the middle of that problem and they're trying to figure out, you know, what am I going to do? And they might be researching the different laws, you know, before they get to the point where they're hiring a lawyer. You know, they're researching like, hey, what to do in a dispute. So this is where you have the opportunity to help answer their questions. So it might be like an ebook about employment law, or an ebook on how to handle a layoff. Or, you know, I have a friend going through this. Her company just got sold. So what to do with your, you know, what to do with your employees if you're selling the company. So having an ebook about selling your business, having an, you know, if you're in employment law, or having an ebook on how to handle layoffs, or maybe if you're representing employees, your rights when you get laid off, having some kind of content related to that, or, you know, in terms of like Alexander's example, you know, contractors in dispute with their own clients. So like your rights as a contractor with clients. So having an ebook for independent contractors and how to uphold their contractual rights. So thinking about the problems and how to make a lead magnet around it. It doesn't have to actually be an ebook. And by the way, a lot of times people think an ebook is something very intimidating. Most ebooks are like 5 to 10 pages, and they can also be made up of content that you already have. So if you have articles that you've written in the past, blog posts, you can collect those and compile them into an ebook. You know, of course, working with us, we also can create the ebook for you, even find a writer to put that together. Our designers put it together. Even running a webinar, you know, in all transparency, this is my lead magnet, right? To find clients for LegalWerx, you know, having a webinar related to what the client is concerned or worried about. So in addition to the ebooks, Ken is also doing Henson Trust webinars. And I also encourage a lot of my clients to do webinars. Having a quiz on your site, and I'll be showing you an example of that, or a calculator. Having videos on your site, again, humanizing you as a lawyer and also showing off your expertise, and offering a strategy session, always with an online calendar as part of that. So how does this sound to you guys? Does this sound like something that could help your practice? Give me an I, yes, we. So the first thing is the ebook with the Ken Pope. I showed you this example before, but we actually put together this from content he had already. And we also, on the landing page of the ebook where people actually sign up to get it, there's a few bullet points. related to what is covered in the book. So, and this is good to know because a lot of people think, oh, I'm giving it for free. Why should I even pitch it? But you got to get people interested in that before they get interested in you, because this is a pathway to them ultimately becoming your client, right? And this is a pathway to get them onto your mailing list. And you also do email marketing related to this. So the ebook is not a standalone. So if you think back to the marketing funnel I just talked about, you got to combine it with a marketing funnel. So if you got an ebook on your site and a sign up form for the ebook, that sign up form should also be connected to an auto response email where when they sign up, they get a link to the ebook that they requested, but they might also get follow-up emails, and you can automate all this so that they get, the next email is, hey, thanks so much for downloading our ebook. By the way, are you interested in having an appointment with us? Or maybe the next one is an invitation to a webinar that you're having. So having that lead magnet be the start of that relationship and conversation, right? So another important thing to show here, just a close-up of this, is how you set up this online form. I told you I'm a form geek. So most of us know about Castle, that you have to ask permission. Also, these ebooks are a great way to get permission-based subscribers because you want to ask for that permission to comply with Castle. But another question that a lot of people omit to ask is saying, hey, would you like us to contact you about making an appointment based on, signing up for this book? They don't actually say that. The actual language is, yes, I'd like information on Ken's family estate planning services for special needs and or making an appointment. So, I'd say a good proportion of people will fill this out just by having a question there. And that is what that automated lead flow is. That is the heart of what I'm talking about, is having questions like that be part of your lead magnet. Most people will check that off without even thinking about it. And it makes a big difference. So I think I've blathered on about ebooks. Another lead magnet example I've got here is the webinar. Just doing something like we're doing today. Of course, you need to have someone to target the webinar too, and we could talk about that in the advertising section of the full circle plan. But even just offering a webinar, a lot of you have a subscriber list already, or maybe you have, you might have a subscriber list and might not even know it. So, a lot of lawyers in practice that I talk to, sometimes people have been in practice like 20 years, and they have a list of all old clients that they've got their names, numbers, but they've never emailed them. They've never contacted them. Those are great prospects to invite to a webinar because they already know you, they like you, they may not have heard from you in a really long time, and they're the perfect audience to remind them that you exist and invite them to a webinar, right? And by the way, in the webinar, you can also use that as a Castle permission-based source of contacts, and you can, customize those forms to ask for their permission to either contact you for an appointment or permission to be on your mailing list, etc. Another great lead magnet example that I really love is quizzes. So this is an example from a personal injury lawyer, and they have like a really simple quiz, and I love that they preface it with a video, and it asks, were you involved in an accident, and it's all about, what can you claim potentially from your accident. So instead of just saying, hey, I'm a personal injury lawyer and I'm really great, I'm really experienced, contact me, they're giving people a way to find out what they might qualify for in terms of their personal injury claim with this little quiz. And people love quizzes, first of all, because like I said, we're in a trend right now in society. People don't want to interact with people. I know like maybe you guys can give me a yes or something if you ever see a phone call come through. It might even be from a good friend or someone you love, but you just don't want to talk on the phone, and you're like, why aren't you texting me? What's wrong? Is there did someone die? Like, people just don't want to. Same thing with business relationships. People just don't want to have to call an office. They don't want to send an email. If there's something they can do kind of self-service as much as possible, um, they prefer that. And that's where these quizzes come in. They can basically fill out this quiz and feel like they got a little bit of legal knowledge, that Costco size sausage based knowledge of like what they might qualify for in a claim. And a lot of people might be nervous in offering something like this because they're like, well, really, I have to talk to the client, I have to find out about the accident, find out what car hit them or whatever, who could be at fault, in order to give. I don't want to give like some canned answer. The idea here is to just give them some general information, but at the end of the quiz, they'll have a page that says, based on what you filled out here, they might fill out that they were in an auto accident 2 years ago and they had to go to the hospital. Based on what you filled out here, you might qualify for a personal injury damages or something like that, or you may qualify for a personal injury claim. To find out for sure, make an appointment with our office. And some people even say, hey, to find out if you qualify, we will be emailing you your assessment or something like that. So they're going to want to find out the results of this quiz, and they're going to want to, it's getting them thinking about their issue. Then they're more likely to take the next step of contacting you. So hopefully, does that make sense? Another really great type of quiz is a calculator. So this is a law firm that's developed a severance pay calculator. And a lot of times people are thinking of contacting a lawyer, they've been laid off, or they have to let people go, and they're wondering how much they're going to owe them in terms of severance. So this is a severance pay calculator where employees can look up, what they may qualify for. And part of the severance pay calculator, as at the end, you have to enter your email to get your results of your calculation. So obviously the email is a lead to, it goes to a form that goes to the law firm that runs this severance pay calculator. So this is another great example of a lead magnet. Some different examples are just videos. Video of you talking about your area of practice. That can be a lead magnet in itself, because at the end of the video you could say, hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our mailing list for more, or download our ebook. So they can, two lead magnets can work together. And this lawyer, she's in the States, and she's produced a whole series of videos related to family law. So that's another great example. This is a more corporate example of, webinars that, a corporate law firm running webinars on different topics. So they have an actual webinar section on their website, and they run webinars on different topics. You have to register for the webinar, so that's a lead magnet for them. And you can see they run them, fairly regularly on different topics. And finally, I think my favorite example, and probably the easiest to implement, is making sure you tie an online calendar to your online consultation offer on your site. So this is an example of how these work. I'm sure you guys have seen these. So basically, on your Contact Us page, it'll say book a free call. That opens up a calendar page. And this is where a lot of people get nervous, because they're like, oh, but I have Google Calendar, or I have Outlook Calendar. Most of these applications, they actually sync with your Google Calendar, or they sync with Outlook, and or they can even sync with your admin assistant's Outlook calendar, and you can make it totally integrated so that you can actually control what appointments are available. So if you only want people to make appointments between 2 to 3 p.m. on a Thursday, every other week, you can actually set that up in the settings. They'll also be prevented because they are synced in real time. Nobody will ever be able to make an appointment during another client's appointment. So if you make an appointment on your computer, nobody who books through the site will ever be able to take that time. It'll be shown as blocked. So these are tools that work really, really well now, and they're an easy win, easy thing to implement. So does this make sense to you guys so far with the lead magnets? Should I move on to, Hijani is asking, how does the AI work? Let's say a set of automated messages detect certain key questions. So yeah, like with the automated messages, after someone fills out a form, it depends how you set it up. So basically it could be like, there's different systems we use. For example, you can set up automated messages in MailChimp, or you can set up automated messages even in HubSpot or in Fusionsoft. I'm not really sure what you mean by detecting certain key questions, but basically you can set up your automated messages to each have a different content. So the first one can be, thanks for downloading the ebook. The next one can be like, thanks for downloading the ebook and you might want to make an appointment. Here's a link to our appointment scheduler thing. The next one is, hey, I just wrote an article about this law topic. You might want to read about it. So you basically have them all pre-written as much as you want or as little as you want. I myself don't have a fully automated system now, but I know lots of some, of my law clients do. So you can just have 2 emails that go after the form, or you can just have 1 email, or you can have 6 or 8. I prefer to keep it flexible so that, if somebody fills out my appointment form on my site, for example, they'll just get the thank you. And then I might invite them to a webinar later, but I make that as a standalone. So, but you can make it a whole series depending on how much you want to automate and how busy you want to get. So I definitely recommend the ebook to appointment to webinar as a series. I think that works really, really well for many, many practices. So we can chat more about that in the Q&A if you want more details. So moving on to web design. So at the heart of our business, Napkin Marketing is really a web design company, and that's why I kind of like bragged about our awards, because my team can tell you, like I always say, if you're going to build a site, I want us to win a design award. So, and design is not just about being pretty, it's also about having a professional look. And a lot of times when we start working with a client, they have an outdated website. And what does that say when a client sees an outdated website, or a website that doesn't work very well, or a website that has like lorem ipsum placeholder text on it? It says that, the details have not been paid attention to. And what other details are not being paid attention to? So it leaves people with a negative impression of you, because they're hiring a lawyer because they don't want to take care of the details, right? So you want to make sure that that your website looks good, it sounds good, and presents you in the most professional way. And really, we like to tell people your website is the hub. So everything you're doing in the full circle system, the the lead magnet, the sales funnel, it's all about really bringing people to your website, because the website's going to be probably where your lead magnet is. The website's going to be where your scheduler form is. And you want to actually bring people to your website, because that also triggers a lot of other marketing you can do. For example, I'll be talking a little bit about e-marketing. So this gets a little bit technical, but basically, whenever someone comes to your website, you're capturing their visit, either capturing the stats of how many people are visiting through Google Analytics. Everybody here, if one takeaway you should have is everyone should have Google Analytics installed on their website. It tracks how many visitors come to your website. And the other thing you should have is start thinking about retargeting. So you can actually create ad campaigns so that everyone who visits your site will start seeing ads for your law firm, and that's part of retargeting. So I'll tell you a little more about that later. But the idea is social media, you shouldn't just be tweeting or posting random articles. I see a lot of lawyers posting random news articles. There should always be, it's fine to post articles about a case that you noticed, or about a new law that's changed. But also make sure that the 60% of the posts are something related to your firm and have a link back to your firm, because that also helps your links that you have back to your website. The more the better your search optimization will go. Are we having, I just got a message that my internet is unstable. So guys, let me know if, can you guys still hear me? Okay. So what we put together here is, this is kind of an infographic and tip list. And it gives you kind of the key elements that you want to have on your website that we've seen that are sort of create the success factors to help the site not only convert. Oh, shoot. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? Where did I drop off? I think, okay. So I think what I was saying here was, this is a little tip sheet we put together of the key things you should have on your website to make sure your website is converting well, and also that that it ranks well on Google. So this is just kind of the main things we've seen with working with clients, not just in law, but in general, that we like to tell them to have on their site, and you kind of use this as a checklist. So first thing is keywords in your page title and content. So I don't want to ruin my presentation, but basically when you open up a web page, you'll see in the tab the name of the company of that website generally. You want to make sure, you know, your website name in your title of your website, and you can ask us later, or you can ask your webmaster of your page title. It includes the keywords related to your law specialty. So you don't want to just have Miller and Miller Partners, or whatever your law firm name, or, you know, Smith Law. You want to have Smith, because everybody is Smith Law. You know, that could be a million different practices. That could be an IP practice, or a family law, or a labor law. You want to have Smith Law, Employment and Labor Law, you know, or you want to have, you know, Miller and Miller, Copyright and Trademark Lawyers. So you want to have your keywords in your page title, and also under your logo as well. So your law specialty and should be part of your logo if it's not already, and it should also be part of your page title and the programming of the web page. Another thing I like to encourage is to have a photo. Not, you know, everyone's got their law firm photo of like that big group shot of everybody in their boardroom, or like law, you know, books behind them. You know, you don't want to look like everyone else. So a lot of times I encourage our clients to have a photo that's a little more humanizing. And I think you saw on my Kem Pope example, we have photos of families. We have some tasteful photos of families, you know, with a disabled child. They're out on a picnic, or they're out doing something fitness related and active. So something like positive, or just something visual related to your practice. You know, we also had, not every practice has something positive related to it. So, you know, personal injury law, sometimes you'll have a picture of like police car, an accident, or whatever, or someone in a wheelchair. It doesn't have to be a positive photo. They should just be a humanizing photo, not just a photo of your team. Do you want to have a photo? You can have a photo of your team or a photo of yourself somewhere on that page, but that shouldn't be the only photo, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, having a clear selling proposition, having a tagline, something that when people first visit, they can see immediately what you do, and there's a clear CTA as a call to action. So it could be connect with us, it could be make an appointment, it could be book now, whatever. You know, and having your lead magnet on a homepage, or having a video, as well as having a contact form right on the homepage. And we also have trust icons here. So if you're a member of an association, you're a member of the Board of Trade, you're a member of, even that your firm has done charities in the community, having some logos on here, especially more for the corporate law side, if you are allowed to share, logos or any awards that you've won, putting those on the homepage is a good way to kind of emphasize, again, building that trust, right? So it might, some people even have Better Business Bureau, Toronto Board of Trade, whatever. Those are pretty, or, even the Bar Association. Even we have one lawyer client who he deals mostly with legal aid clients. So having, the logo of the Legal Aid Foundation or whatever. So things like that, if you've been published in a newspaper or a magazine, having a logo like as seen in CTV News, as seen in the Globe and Mail, having some people are also another big trend is nobody wants to read. And that's really sad for me because I grew up reading a lot. But having visuals, people rely on visuals more than words now. So having visuals and icons on your site makes a big difference. If you have like a physical location, it's good to put a map because again, it builds trust, just for people to know you have an office, right? So easy navigation, for people to see all the legal service areas, the practice areas that you specialize in the navigation. Also a big thing, having the phone number on the home page. A lot of times when people go to your page, they might be on their car, they might not be in the position to read through your website, and they might want to just instantly make that call. Having a phone number makes a big difference, and having it on the right on the homepage at the top so that people could easily click to call, right? And obviously having it mobile responsive. 40 to 60% of the traffic now to websites comes from mobile. So having a way for people to just one click touch to contact you or to fill out a really easy form. Another thing we're offering right now is trackable phone numbers. So a lot of times, I'll ask, again, not just lawyers, but any business people, like, how many phone calls do you get a month? They have no idea. They, maybe they look up their Rogers bill for their cell phone, or maybe they'll ask their assistant. We actually have a system called CallRail where we set up a forwarding number. You don't have to change your phone system or change your phone setup or anything, change your cell phone. It's the number that's advertised on your website. It forwards directly, and it's very seamless, forwards to your regular business line. And what it does is it tracks the number of calls you get to your firm. And and you can set up different call numbers from different sources. So you can put one CallRail number on your Google AdWords, you can put one CallRail number on your website, and not only tracks the number of calls, you get a report at the end of the month saying how many calls you got from different sources. And it also actually records the phone call, which is kind of phenomenal because a lot of times people don't realize how many calls just get dropped or go to voicemail. And a lot of people will just hang up once they get voicemail. And that's very eye-opening to a lot of businesses. But you could actually capture those calls because in the CallRail report, you can see the calls that got dropped and didn't leave a message. And I know you can do that by going through your cell phone numbers, but for business numbers, it's a little more difficult. So you can actually track down, some of those lost calls, and it's a really great tool. Some of the things I already mentioned, so tracking the call, trackable phone number, strong call to action, video or photo of your team, a lead contact form, eBook or lead magnet. A lot of lawyers are also, this toolbar is killing me. A lot of law firms are also implementing live chat on their site. And again, I could tell you more about this and get into detail if you guys contact me one-on-one, but there's services that you can have someone man a live chat for you, or you can basically have automated conversations that if someone contacts you after hours, they're able to just leave a message or take their email, take their phone number. And I know some of my lawyer clients have already implemented this really successfully. And the other things on the back end are having, having an SEO plugin so that you're able to put keywords on your site, having Google Analytics, as I mentioned, so you can measure traffic on your site. Google XML sitemaps is another thing on the back end to help with your SEO, and a review stream. A lot of law firms don't realize how important reviews are and how willing people are to leave reviews. And I was even skeptical about this till I did more research on it. But people love to leave Google reviews, and Google reviews are a very important way that you can grow your business, because a lot of times people will check out a lawyer or check out a business's Google reviews, any kind of business, and see what other clients said about them. So having some Google reviews and building up a flow of Google reviews for your law firm is increasingly very, very important. And you'd be shocked at how many people will leave reviews, even about a very confidential area of law, just by you asking them, right? I think Matthew have a question.
Yeah, there's one question in the Q&A from Alexander. He asked, which website design do you recommend? Wix, Weebly, WordPress, etc.
Great question. We probably almost exclusively work with WordPress. We do work with Wix and Weebly as well. But the great thing about WordPress is when you buy a site from Wix or Weebly, you have to be on their hosting, on their platform. You're basically married to them, and which is good and bad. The good thing is they have a lot of the tools you need for your website. So they'll have a lot of the SEO tools you need and so forth. But you'll end up running into walls sometimes when it comes to customization, right? So, for the most part, we recommend WordPress, but we also, Wix has actually come a long way. Weebly, not so much, but Wix has actually gotten a lot better over the years. So I would say probably WordPress #1, maybe Wix #2, and Weebly #3. Hope that answers your question. So these are just a few sites I wanted to show you guys with what other law firms are doing. This is a family law practice here in Toronto, and they're they're doing their ebook, they're doing their online chat here, and this is, I actually think online chat's so smart for family law, because a lot of times, you're not ready to make that leap of like contacting a lawyer. If someone's thinking about divorce situation, they'd rather have an online chat, a confidential chat here, right? So let's see. Again, with Ken, I love that he put this photo with his grandson on here, really humanizing, especially for his area of practice. And again, I say no stock photos, but I mean, some clients will actually use a stock photo in their About Us photo and have like a fake lawyer photo. Please don't do that. Please use your real photos. People can tell that it's a real person's photo. They want to deal with a real person, and they want to deal with you as an expert and have a relationship with you as a professional. So again, I was talking about humanizing the practice with one of our clients, Adrian Baker Law, and we really deliberately chose photos of, like, because he deals with divorce, he deals with custody issues, he deals with Children's Aid Society issues with abused children. So we wanted to pick photos really carefully that showed like a happy family, but not too happy. So we had to, we had to pick the photos just very judiciously. But I think he's gotten really great results with his site and attracting clients. So again, I think choosing the right photos and also making sure, again, like even with stock photos, you got to be careful. A lot of them are a little bit cheesy. You don't want to have, please don't do the photos where people are doing the thumbs up and in a board meeting. Those are so overdone. So, and again, like, you don't want to have, you don't want to give the wrong impression or show that you're out of touch. You want to make sure any photos you select, whether they're photos of yourself or stock photos, they're all about humanizing and building trust, right? So that's kind of my web design spiel, and getting into the SEO. So just to get everyone up to speed on SEO and organic versus paid search. So when I'm talking about SEO, usually I'm talking about organic search results, and organic sounds so like Whole Foods, and because it sounds like, oh, I should naturally show up in Google in the organic results. But usually those organic SEO search results are the results of, you know, people like Napkin Marketing or LegalWerx, or people on our team putting together backlinks. And, you know, so SEO is not, organic SEO is not necessarily free, and paid search, you know, so the main difference with paid search is when you see it on the homepage, anything you see that says ad is a Google ad. It's a pay-per-click. So any ad on here, advertiser, so let's say I'm searching for copyright lawyer Los Angeles. Anybody, you know, when I type that into Google, I see these 4 ads show up, and I know they're an ad because it says ad. So all of these law firms have paid to show up when someone types in copyright lawyer Los Angeles, or sometimes they just pay to show up when someone types in copyright lawyer, and the Los Angeles is just part of that search. So every time I click an ad here, they are paying a click charge per keyword, depending on that keyword. So copyright lawyer Los Angeles, maybe that costs $25 a click. So every time, but they're basically paying for a lead. So they're assuming that everybody who clicks on that will be a lead. So that's paid search. Organic search is Google is selecting companies to be on that search. They didn't pay to be there, but Google thinks that they're relevant to copyright lawyer Los Angeles. So this is, and why is, you know, Cohen IP law showing up here? Because they actually are a copyright lawyer in Los Angeles. Are you guys okay? Can you still hear me? Okay, I know the audio's a little bit been in and out. So all of these law firms here that are showing up in the organic results, they didn't pay to be there, but they optimized their SEO to be there. All of these guys who showed up in paid results actually are doing the pay-per-click and doing Google AdWords. Does this make sense so far? So what I'm focusing here on this part of the circle is the SEO, the organic search results. So when you're thinking about organic SEO, it's all about the keywords. You want to be thinking in advance about what keywords do I want to show up for, and what are my target clients searching for. So for example, if you're a personal injury lawyer, you obviously want to show up on Google when someone searches for personal injury lawyer, or you want to show up when they're searching on personal injury attorney or malpractice lawyer. You know, these are for different specialties, but maybe someone's searching for a car accident lawyer, or they're doing personal injury as a result of medical malpractice, so they're searching for a medical malpractice attorney. So this is a bit of a brainstorming exercise, or when we're involved, you know, we brainstorm the keywords with the clients. We use a number of keyword research tools that are part of our software arsenal, and we also look at competitors. So a lot of times, you know, in your area of practice, you know who your 3 or 4 top competitor lawyers are. And what we actually do when we're working with you is we look at your competitors' websites and we tell you what they're ranking for. And this is really good competitive intelligence to know. It's public information that you can derive with the right software, with the right search engine optimization software. But we help you kind of come up with the keywords, and you see all these bar graphs. Certain keywords are more searched for than others. So personal injury lawyer gets way more searches than auto accident lawyer. So you want to be coming up on keywords that have high search volume. That's super important. And if you download that Excel sheet that we give away at the end, it's going to tell you for different legal practice areas how much search volume each one got, so you know which are the top keywords that you want to be shown for. Also, everyone thinks about keywords as like words, like personal injury lawyer, but don't forget, in Google, a lot of times people now just enter questions like, can I sue an insurance company? You know, can I sue, you know, my best friend? Can I sue my neighbor? Can I sue my business partner? So think about that as also of your keywords. So here, you know, this is just a snippet from Google, but the words, can I sue an insurance company, gets 90 monthly searches, right? So if you're in the business of suing insurance company and doing litigation against insurance company, you want to have content that has the words, can I sue an insurance company? Maybe have a blog post about it as part of your site, right? So, even these are just examples, again, of like divorce keywords. So again, if you wanted, most of your clients are going to come from a certain geographic area. You want to be showing up for like Calgary divorce or Los Angeles divorce or Los Angeles family court or whatever, Montreal child support. A lot of times people will type in their city plus the topic they're looking for. So what we do when we work with our clients is we're doing this for one client right now, is building up pages that have the city name plus their area of practice as the main content of that page, right? Now I'll show you guys an example of that. So this is, I know a lot of Diamond and Diamond, I know they have a little bit of a bad rep, but I'm just showing them because they're really good at their SEO. So they are actually they're almost more of a legal lead generation service, because I know they work with lots of other law firms, but their SEO is excellent. And I'll show you why, because basically they have like hundreds of pages like this that are specific to a geographic area and an area of practice. So for example, they'll have a page called Richmond Hill Real Estate Lawyers. They also have Mississauga Real Estate Lawyers. They also have, Toronto Real Estate Lawyers, Etobicoke, etc., and probably all the municipalities in the GTA. So they'll have a page for every city they serve, and every page has a title tag, which is a piece of code in the programming, an H1 tag, and you want to have these kind of titles and this content that has the words Richmond Hill Real Estate. The reason they have this is when they want to show up when someone searches for Richmond Hill Real Estate Lawyer. So they built this page very specifically for that, right? And also in their URL, which is their website domain, in that actually affects the Google code, because Google searches through those URLs. So it'll say diamondanddiamond.com/Richmond Hill real estate lawyer, right? So you want to make sure that the city and the service is also in the URL. That's a big thing for your SEO, and that you have unique content for every page. So you don't want to just duplicate the content. You want to have it a little bit different for every page. And Ken does this actually with his videos. So he has videos related to his area of practice, and the videos are on YouTube. And Google owns YouTube. So Google rewards people who create YouTube content. So that's another area that can really help your SEO, is if you are going to make videos, put them on YouTube as well as putting them on your website. Another thing is having your areas of practice listed as pages of your site. So for example, going back to the personal injury, of course, they have a page about their personal injury service. Again, these are all individual pages on their website. This is their navigation bar from a law firm. There was a trend a few years ago of the one-page websites where everything, literally the website was just one page. That's actually really, really bad for SEO, because you need to have, in order for Google to index you as much as possible, you want to have as many pages as possible, and you want to have specific pages with specific URLs related to your legal area that Google can search through. If you just have one page and one URL, that really limits your SEO, right? So, they want to be found when someone searches under auto accidents or truck accidents or wrongful death. They have pretty much, it's all about personal injury, but it's all related to the different queries and the different issues people come to them with. For example, dog bites, probably a big reason why people think about suing someone. They have a page about dog bites, right? You'd think most lawyers would just probably put that under personal injury, but having a specific page related to the problem is very powerful, because people Google the problem. They're not Googling your practice area. They're Googling the problem that they're having. They're Googling, nursing home abuse. They're not Googling medical malpractice. That's just not even in their vocabulary, right? So you want to have pages related to the legal problem, right? Is this making sense, guys? You gotta give me some yeses, because I'm I'm in a boardroom by myself here. Okay, so content, thank you. So content related to legal problems, again, kind of expanding on this. I think this is still Schulman law, back to the family law practice. They really have great relevant blog posts, really related to the problems people are coming to them with, and also related to the keywords they want to be found under. So now, with COVID, that's affecting people with families and with divorce, or people, dealing with out of court separation. Basically, this requires a real concerted effort and thinking very intentionally about the content you produce, and having also the resources that to create that content. But basically, it comes down to blogging about your keywords and having fresh content being published on a regular basis on your website, fresh blogs. We recommend 1 or 2 blogs a month, to make sure, because Google also rewards sites that are constantly being updated. And that's again something we can help you with as part of, when we take on a client, we basically implement the full circle digital marketing program for them, and either do, you could do 8 out of 8, you could do 5 out of 8, but most of the time SEO is something I really recommend them to have as one of the elements in their customer program, in your customer program. And as part of the SEO, we also do blogging, and we have legal content writers who can help when the lawyer's too busy, because I know what you're all thinking. Who has the time to write all these blog posts? A lot of these bigger firms, they're hiring a marketing agency, or they're hiring content writers, or they're working with an agency like ours, and we're helping them produce that content. And this crazy picture. So moving on from content, the other big important thing in SEO is backlinks. So this very crazy, confusing picture kind of illustrates the backlink ecosystem. Google rewards, and used to reward more, and still rewards websites that have other websites linking to them, because basically, based on Google's algorithm, they see a website that where when a website has a lot of other websites linking to it, they see that website being more authoritative. And the better the websites that link to you, the more authoritative they are, the higher they will rank your website. So if your website is being referred by the Law Society of Upper Canada, and the Family Lawyers of Ontario, and the Toronto Star, you have an article from the Toronto Star and it links back to you, or a blog post, or the more, or business directory, legal directory, the more Google will look at that and be like, oh, this person really is a family lawyer in Toronto, because they've been verified by all these other sources, right? So the idea here, as part of our SEO program, we build backlinks to help elevate your site in the Google algorithm. And some of those backlinks might be business directories. Some of those backlinks might be legal directories. Some of those backlinks might be business blogs, where we'll put an article about the client in a business blog. Sometimes those articles are really just written for a search engine. And if you read this article, it's very, very basic sounding article about your legal practice, but the whole goal of that article might have been to get that backlink. And it does work. So you gotta be careful about this, because there's the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to backlinks. So you don't want to have backlinks from sketchy sites from overseas, but there's also good backlinks that have, and they're ranked by, Google ranks them by domain authority or trust authority. So, government sites are the highest domain authority and the highest trustworthy. But there's ways to get high authority backlinks by using a little innovation. So for example, we had one lawyer we found that gave a donation and a scholarship in the name of their law practice to U of T Law School. And because they did that, they got a backlink where U of T said, thank you so much for the donation, so-and-so partners law firm. That ended up being a backlink from U of T, which is an edu, it's like utoronto.edu. A university backlink is almost like a government backlink. So because of that, he's been able to really rank very high in Google for his category just because he donated a scholarship, right? So you can do some really different things, but some of the basic ways that you can get backlinks are your law society. I think all the law societies have some kind of directory, but not all the lawyers take advantage of them, and you're not always in there automatically. So making sure you're listed in your law society directory, making sure you're listed in your bar association. If you're part of a local board of trade or local business or networking association, most of the time they have a business directory, making sure you get listed in those. These are a few legal directories, and you can see their domain authority scores here. So there's FindLaw, there's a lot of legal directories out there. I think I mentioned that alumni university donation example, but making sure you're in some of the main legal directories. Also, so those are kind of the top kind of backlinks you can get. Mid-level backlinks, I would say still legal directories, but there's good ones and there's sort of not so great ones. Even some of those medium ones are still good because you're still getting a backlink out of them. Business blogs, business directories, and then you kind of get into some of those lower domain authority backlink sources, like really business directories, but you could tell nobody ever visits them. They've got all kinds of crazy ads on them and they're really just made for SEO. Those would have very minimal effect. But the point is backlinks are important for your SEO and they should be part of your SEO strategy. One of the innovative ways we've gotten backlinks is even answering questions in Quora, and Masha's on our team, maybe she can tell you more about that in the chat. So, just answering questions related to your legal practice. And yeah, I got your time warning, Matt. I'm gonna rush through the rest. But having that, when you answer a question, your company name can be part of your profile, and it's a way to get a backlink. And those are also highly regarded backlinks by Google, like sites like Quora, or even having a post on your LinkedIn, publishing an article on LinkedIn, publishing posts that link back to your site from your social media. It's a great way to get backlinks. Even Google reviews and your Google Maps listing, optimizing that and making sure there's link backs to your site, answering questions in the Google reviews is also something that really helps the Google algorithm. And the whole thing about SEO is you got to track what you're doing. So with our clients, we provide a client dashboard that's a confidential web page that they can visit, and it gives them stats on how many visitors they're getting, if they're doing Google AdWords, how many clicks they're getting, how much they're spending on their AdWords. But the idea with SEO is making sure that you're always getting the reporting and you're always tracking, because you don't know if you're doing well or you're doing poorly. And one thing we do is regular reporting to see hey, did you go up for a certain keyword? We want to, we tell you where you're starting from. So if you want to be, number one for estate planning lawyer, Richmond Hill, we tell you where you're starting off. Maybe right now you're number 50. Maybe you're 7 pages deep into Google. If you want to get to page 1, you got to track on a regular basis, and it will take time. And sometimes 3 to 6 months. We've done it a lot less as well. Sometimes we've done it in 1 month. It all depends on how competitive it is. But the important thing is you have to track in order to see the results. So next thing is PPC ads, and I've talked about this a little bit. So these are the ones that are big difference between SEO and PPC is if you start a Google AdWords program, you don't have to wait that 0 to 3 months to be on page 1 of Google for your keyword. You can actually be on page 1 of Google tomorrow if we set up your campaign today. So the idea here is pay-per-click is a great way to get started really fast and to rank on Google page 1 really fast without having to do the potentially months of work for SEO. Now, the downside is you got to keep paying and it could get very expensive. SEO is more sustainable. So I almost like, sometimes I tell people SEO is kind of like losing weight by going to the gym, and you got to keep going to the gym. You can't just like go to the gym for 3 months, lose 20 pounds and go back to eating junk food. You know, you're going to have to keep going to the gym and keep doing SEO optimization to maintain that ranking. Versus pay-per-click or Google AdWords, it's a little more like getting liposuction. So you're going to pay some big bucks to get that 20 pounds off, but you'll get that result right away. And there's nothing wrong with that. It all depends how you want to invest in, how fast you want to see those results. And you can also do a combination of both. So that's why I always go back to that full circle integrated approach. You can be building up your organic and also get that instant results and start getting leads generated with Google Ads. So with Google Ads, you know, they're the ads you see down here, but a lot of people don't know that under the Google Maps, the top 3 businesses you see, usually the very first one is also a Google ad. So you can be showing up number 1 for the maps also with Google Ads. And the idea is here, you'll show up immediately when someone puts the keyword. Another thing people don't know about Google Ads is they're familiar with the text ads we see here, but they're also, most of the time when you see a banner ad on a website or on, you know, Toronto Star, CNN, any kind of, you know, Facebook, any major website, news site, blog that you see, whenever you see a banner ad, it's being run through Google AdWords. So we can also set up banner ads for your law firm. This is some examples of banner ads, for one for an immigration lawyer, one for, and when we set up these campaigns, we have to build the banner ads in all the different sizes because there's like 30, 40 different sizes now of ad. They have to be in different sizes because they have to show up on different kinds of websites. They have to show up on mobile properly. So as part of a Google pay-per-click campaign, we'll also do, you know, those display ads, as they're called, or the banner ads. Facebook ads is another form of pay-per-click. So every time you see the Facebook ads in your news feed, every time you click on that ad, the company, they've either put together a budget or they're paying for every click they get. So with Facebook ads, it's a little bit of a different strategy than Google Ads. With Google Ads, you're showing up for people's specific searches, like they're specifically searching for personal injury lawyer, specifically searching for, you know, wills and estate planning. With Facebook ads, it's a little more of a branding play. So it's more about getting the visibility and getting the, being able to be seen. So when people do have the need, they start seeing your brand and you gain that name recognition. So one way people use Facebook ads is they'll actually do a lead magnet and they'll promote their ebook on their Facebook ads, and they'll build up their subscriber list that way. So these are some examples of Facebook ads for lawyers. So this is that ebook example I was giving you, like the secret blueprint for a successful divorce. People are going to think like I'm about to get a divorce with all these divorce examples. I'm not. You know, ebook for immigration guide. This is a cute Facebook ad about, you know, custody for fathers, custody cases for fathers. So these, you can be really, really creative with Facebook. And that's the nice thing, is you can kind of break through the clutter, and you're not just showing up when people are specifically searching, but a lot of times people are thinking of a topic and you can intrigue them with that ad and, you know, get them to sign up for your ebook and mailing list. LinkedIn, really quickly, is, I'm going to run out of time here and I wanted to have Q&A. That's another form of pay-per-click ads. So if you've ever seen LinkedIn ads in your LinkedIn newsfeed, they're pretty similar to the way Facebook ads work. And a lot of companies will do like an ebook giveaway for LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is good if your target clientele is more corporate. So, you know, if you're a copyright lawyer, you're a tax lawyer, your target clients are businesses and business owners versus more personal needs, LinkedIn is great because you can target by different industry sectors. You can show your ad to only certain professions. So it's really great that way. You can even target to other lawyers because I know for a lot of my clients, their business comes from referrals from other lawyers. So you can actually have ads that target lawyers as well. So that's kind of pay-per-click in a nutshell. Does this make sense so far? I hope I'm not rushing, but I'm going into retargeting, and I like this this diagram because it's like guy walking with his girlfriend and the girl who got away. So that's kind of a little bit of what retargeting is about, is advertising to the client who got away. So the idea is someone visits your site, 80 or 90% of the time. I'd say even, sometimes 98% of the time, the people visiting your site are not going to fill out that lead form. They're not going to ask for an appointment. And you may have spent some money on advertising on Google to get those people to your site. So the idea with retargeting is you keep advertising to them and you have ads. If you guys have ever gone on Amazon or gone on, an e-commerce website, all of a sudden you start seeing ads for that website on other websites you go to. Congratulations, you're being retargeted. So the same thing you can do for a law firm. So basically, it's a way to recapture people and stay top of mind with them when they weren't ready to take action at the time, and also a way to get better ROI on your advertising dollars that you already spent, right? So you're giving them another touch point. They're like, oh, that banner ad, oh yeah, that's the law firm I visited. Hey, maybe I'll check them out again. And the idea is to get them back to your website, so hopefully to contact you at that point. Oh, and the same ads, by the way, that are run for Google Display would also be the kind of ads that show for Google retargeting. So those same, they might just see an ad for your law firm, same kind of ad that we've done in the other campaign. So hopefully that makes sense so far. I'm going to go into email marketing, one of my favorite forms of marketing, not only because it's effective, but it's also very cost effective and it's very personal. So email is, according to statistics, according to studies, is, especially for small business, it's one of the most used forms of marketing. Of course, because we get a lot of spam, but it's also one of the most personal and most effective forms in terms of what people respond to. So people are more likely to respond to an email than to an ad. If you think about all the ad clutter we see versus an email in your inbox, right? So these are just some examples we've collected of law firm e-newsletters. Some firms tend to do an e-newsletter with, 4 mistakes to avoid during the divorce process, tips related to their area of practice. So this is more the traditional type of e-newsletter. And sometimes you might also use e-news to push a lead magnet. So for example, here's a lawyer who's talking about his foreign workers guide to finding a job and a visa in the US, right? And he's asking people to download his ebook sample. So again, using a kind of all of those elements of the circle in conjunction. So if you publish an ebook and you already have an existing email list, sending an email newsletter would be a natural way to promote that. And these are just another couple examples of promotional newsletters you can do. And again, that we can help you design, we can help you write them, or you can choose to do these yourself. And finally, we're getting to the last element of the circle with social media management. This can be like a tricky area, but we've done a really quick guide of like where you might use social media for different kinds of practices. So family law, for Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram are more like the really personal social channels. Those might be a great place for family law practices to post, estate law practices to post, real estate, because that's where people kind of congregate, chat with their friends, keep in touch with their family members. And a lot of people also, if you're on any Facebook groups, A lot of times people are looking for referrals. So I'm on, a neighborhood group, a Facebook neighborhood group for my area where I live, and I can't count the number of times people, will put a message on that group. Hey, does anybody know a labor lawyer? Does anybody know a divorce lawyer? Of course, they're also asking, does anybody know a plumber? Does anybody know an electrician? But a lot of times people will post a link to a lawyer that they know to that lawyer's Facebook page. So you want to be there so people can refer you, and also that you can message people on Messenger when you are referred. Again, I mentioned LinkedIn for corporate law, intellectual property law, labor law, Twitter for anything related to tech. So IP law deals a lot with technology, labor law as well. And I tend to say that because Twitter, there's a lot of business users, there's a lot of technology users. It really skews male, whereas Facebook skews female. So think about kind of your target clients that way as well. And these, again, are just some examples. Thank you, Masha, for gathering these, for just how different law practices are using social media. Some are a little more promotional. Some are, this firm is posting, this charity run that they're involved in. Another firm is posting their video that they made about, personal injury. Another, this is an Instagram of a trial lawyer. So she talks about, like Black Lives Matter and some of the causes that she's involved in, as well as webinars that she's doing. We've got another Instagram from McCarthy Tetro, a big law firm here in Toronto. So you can see that, law firms are using Instagram and Facebook. And again, it's just a matter of, another channel to share your message. 10-minute warning, and I think I'm actually getting to be done. So back to you guys. I'd love to hear from you at this point. What did you learn out of this? What did you get? What are 3 things that you think you want to implement out of this? I'm going to take a glass of water here. Feel free to type in the chat. Anybody get some big takeaways out of this? Because this is the first time I'm actually, you guys are my guinea pigs today, because it's the first time I'm presenting this. So much to learn. Anything kind of jump out at anyone specifically? The ebooks, definitely, if one of the relatively easy lead magnets to implement, video marketing. Yeah, absolutely, Stephanie. So yeah, where was I going here? We covered a lot of ground here today, right? And I just want to make sure this was useful for you guys. So here's what we covered so far. I think we went over the full circle digital marketing, how to create a marketing program that delivers consistent customer leads for you. We went over the 6 types of lead magnets, talked about Google AdWords and how that can bring more targeted traffic to your site. Saw lots of real life examples. Went pretty in depth, I think, about the SEO. What about you guys? And I know, like, okay, so yeah, thank you. Alex is saying the holistic approach is what really helped him. Yeah, that's what we like to emphasize, because I think, after being in marketing for many years, we saw people doing the opposite approach, and that's why we recommend this. So, and I know, like, having this could be very overwhelming for a lot of companies when we present all this. There's so many options. There's so many things that you need to be doing. Almost don't know where to start. And I wanted to share, and I think like 2020 has really like sucked a lot for a lot of us. Not everyone, many law practices are thriving, and a lot of people are kind of like getting laid off. So labor law lawyers are busy. A lot of people are getting divorced. Divorce lawyers are busy. There's bankruptcies, but also there's a lot of new businesses starting. So, COVID has been really hard, but it's also, for law practices, it can be a time of great opportunity. And I want to ask you guys, what's your plan for 2020/2021? I really just hope that you guys can use some of these tools and just map out all of this stuff. Thinking about the top 3 things from all of this that you'd like to execute? Are you going to be diving into the Google AdWords? Are you going to be start paying more attention to your SEO? Feel free to put in the chat anything, anything you think that you're going to be implementing as a result of this. Are you going to start doing some email marketing? And I want you to kind of just think about this. Pick 2 or 3 things that you're going to focus on. The online calendar. Yeah, absolutely. That's an easy win, Hejan. So think about top 3 things you want to implement this year. And we're actually here to help you. So this is just our team all working from home during COVID. And if you'd actually like some help, and some of you are clients and you want help, our account managers are here on the chat, Matthew and Maria Kay, and they can sit with you one-on-one. I'm available. I'm on all of the strategy calls with the clients, and we're offering a free strategy session to everyone on this webinar. So I invite you to set up a time. Matthew, if you can put the link for our online scheduler on the Napkin site. If you go to that napkinmarketing.com/apply, you can schedule a time for your free strategy session. And what we do is actually we review what you're doing in your marketing, some of your strengths and weaknesses. We look a little bit as well at what your competitors are doing, and we recommend a plan for you based on the full circle approach. And if you'd like some help, feel free to put in the comments, schedule yourself in. Also happy to offer you the link to the reward with the 2 downloads of the keyword list and the checklist. You can also get on these links if you want to put the link in the chat as well, Matthew. And basically, yeah, for the discovery session, we spent some time talking about what we're doing now, where there's room for improvement for your marketing, and what you can do to help hit your goals for this coming year. So if you're looking for us to potentially help you and work with you, feel free to reach out in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me after it. If you want to put adina@napkinmarketing.com in the chat as well, you can feel free to email me or call, and we're happy to help you or just have a conversation, and we'll schedule something for you right away. And you can call us at the number there. And yeah, just so you know, I do eat my own dog food and take my own advice. So this is our scheduler page here where you could schedule time with me. And this, if you go to the link in the chat, I think it's the napkinmarketing.com/apply. We're still working on our own LegalWerx site, if you could believe it. We only launched the specialty practice really recently, but we worked with all our lawyer clients until now through Napkin. So you could book your discovery call, your strategy call on the napkinmarketing.com/apply and schedule time on my calendar even next week. And there's some links there for you to get your keyword list and your marketing checklist. And we'll get you scheduled, and we appreciate you taking the time. So
this is Alexander here. Thanks very much, Adina. I'm actually dialing in from Edinburgh in Scotland.
Oh, wonderful.
I've just actually returned from about 6 years working in the Middle East in Qatar as a lawyer. But I also have a consulting business in Qatar with some colleagues focusing on construction claims and oil and gas work. I've just your event caught my eye when I was scrolling through Eventbrite, and all I can say is I'm very impressed. I would like to follow up with you at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'll take some time to have a chat with my friends in Qatar. Because I think, while we're not a law firm in Qatar, we are a claims consultancy dealing with construction claims, and it's similar kind of work. And a lot of
absolutely. We really market, obviously LegalWerx, we market ourselves as a law firm marketing agency, but I think a lot of the principles apply for, we work with accounting firms, we work with with engineering consulting firms, actually. That was one of Matthew's clients. So a lot of the same principles apply with lead magnets and, just having that holistic approach with SEO and pay-per-click, and a lot of the same strategy can be applied across multiple sectors. So absolutely, we can definitely
that's
talk.
great.
And
at the moment, our marketing strategy in Qatar is really by word of mouth, and we have some colleagues in Dubai who are also doing some word of mouth. But it's startup at the moment. But I think a lot of what you said is giving me some food for thought. So I'm a Scottish solicitor, and I'm back in Scotland now. I'm getting some fresh air.
Oh, I'm really jealous. I've always wanted to go to Scotland, actually, for a really super geeky reason, because the oldest book of there's a book in the Scotland main library in Edinburgh, I think, and it's a book of all the oldest advertisements in the world. And I've geekily wanted to see this book my whole life, and it's only in Scotland, because I think it's one of the oldest libraries in the world.
Yes,
Some of the oldest universities in the world are in Oxford and England,
Cambridge,
and in Scotland.
and then Aberdeen and Edinburgh. That's right. Yeah.
So I'd love to visit you one day and see my geeky ad book. So.
You'd be most welcome. Yeah. But anyway, I really appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It's been giving me a
Feel
lot
free.
of
Anybody wants to chime in with questions, I'm sticking around a little bit here, or feel free to tag me after. And hopefully you guys got some just great value out of this. I hope you can see that I'm passionate about helping lawyers and law firms like you really get better results and maximize your lead flow, and really dominate your local marketplace and practice area. And it's just been an honor to spend this time with you today. Hopefully you feel more prepared to just crush it in this post-COVID world in 2021. And thank you so much for your business. We just love working with you guys. And for those of you that are thinking about hiring us, feel free to put in the comment box, reach out to us. We look forward to talking with you about, what your goals are, and how we can help. And obviously sharing how much it would cost, what all the programs would be, and love to talk with all of you further. Thanks again. I think I think that was the end. All right. Thanks everybody.
Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Okay, absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Hey guys. Okay, should I just end?
We